Timeline by Jonathan Belfort. Basic outline of events not limiting, evidence for the record, and partial exhibits 1 through 16 conclusion. Record. This basic outline is to memorialize events leading up to Washoe County Code Enforcement Complaint WVIO-PLA24-0100 concerning the property located at 300 Paw Raw Springs Road, Reno, Nevada. APN 077-450-06. Since purchasing my property in March of 2017, I have been under constant harassment and intimidations by members of Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association and their co-actors, mainly James Lee Schreck. At first it was rocks, nails, and other injurious materials placed in the roadway causing damage to my vehicles. In June of 2018, there was an incident where a large amount of debris was deposited next to my driveway in a 5-foot high, 100-foot long section on the frontage of my property. Additionally, 3 trees were bulldozed over and left in shambles. Association President Robert Naring refused to correct the damage they had caused. He informed me that they owned the road and that there was nothing that I could do about it. Then in September of 2018, a second incident occurred where a bulldozer was used to demolish and remove numerous large boulders from a lower section of my property, in the process undermining the hillside and inducing erosion contrary to Washoe County grading standards. At this point, I was contacted Washoe County District Attorney's Office and spoke with an investigator. I was told that my name sounded familiar. There was nothing they could do and that I should be careful that I don't get a case against me coming across his desk. This indicated to me that someone from Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association had already spoken to this office about the situation as a county employee. After all avenues were exhausted in getting this matter resolved, I sent a demand letter to Robert Naring seeking damage. I was immediately attacked by Washoe County zoning for living on my property without a site plan and building permits. I began the permitting process at a cost in excess of $20,000 for plans and permits. This was for a very small 192 square foot cabin. During this period, I was confronted by James Lee Schreck in a menacing manner after stopping and removing an obstruction in the roadway that he told me was authorized by the association, telling me I needed to move because no one wants me here. On November 28, 2019, I received my permits. I was in full compliance according to a FOIA, county records, and several substantiated complaints were made, basically claiming that I was present on my property by James Lee Schreck and Robert Naring, WVIO-PLA18-0288. Things like he's bringing more stuff up there and I'm tired of listening to his generator. Also note, Mr. Schreck grossly exaggerated complaints claiming I had 12 plus vehicles on my property. On July 17, 2019, at a yearly meeting of the Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association, Robert and Natalie Naring, husband and wife, president, secretary, treasurer, respectively, resigned their positions as officers of the association, nonprofit corporation, Wilcox Ranch POA, after completing the only significant amount of roadway I had seen completed after living next to them for over 10 years. Coincidentally, this roadwork was completed almost solely from the entrance of Wilcox Ranch area to the driveway of then Association Vice President Kathy Glather, county employee GID, who proceeded to sell her home at the full market price of $750,000. It appears the amount of roadwork covered checks that were written to themselves, Naring's months, even years before the road work was done. At that time, I requested 5 years of financial documents, checks. I did receive them approximately 60 days later. On the day I received the documents, checks, acting new president Brian Allegretto, who had an accounting degree, resigned with little to no prior notice. Upon examination of the documents/evidence, I noticed that most of all the checks were made out to the Narings in direct violation to Wilcox Ranch POA bylaws. A little over 3 months later, on March 12, 2020, there was a state and national emergency declared due to COVID-19 pandemic with all the associated shutdowns, stay-at-home orders, etc. In August of 2020, I began construction of an engineered septic system that I was told that I needed to do to the rocky terrain of my property by Washoe County Health Department on my property, and spent several months working on the project at a cost of $30,000, not including my labor. In early November 2020, I contracted a severe case of COVID-19, confirmed case Brian Peck at Truckee Meadows Fire Rescue meeting while serving as an operational wildland firefighter. I became deathly ill, suffering a large weight loss, and my health greatly diminished. I had trouble concentrating and tired easily. I also started getting severe headaches and problems with vision continuing today. In May of 2022, after the state of emergency in Nevada was lifted, I sought to resume the construction of my project. To my distress, where we were in economic hyperinflation mode with projected costs of being 50 to 100% higher. I needed time to work out the finances to accommodate the increased costs. In July 2022, at a meeting of the Wilcox Ranch Properties Owners Association, my neighbor and board member, Jeffrey Merritt Wilson, Witness, was elected, placed as secretary treasurer, and received the official association documents. See Exhibits 1 through 33, motion notice reopened, deposition facts verified, perpetuity, fraud claims, case number RSC 2019-000337, and mandatory judicial notice evidence breakdown on checks, case number RSC 2023-000823. The evidence information contained in these court-filed documents point to a sophisticated racketeering operation with an estimated 70 to 90% overbilling, fraudulent ballot counts concerning perpetuity filings under seal with the Secretary of State, and subsequent liens levied on our properties by the attorneys Gail Agnes Kern. Numerous equity theft type schemes that Wilcox Ranch POA, Washoe County all assisted in and profited, gained from. A police report number 21-50898 was filed at the time concerning the claimed embezzlements and other acts. Further examination of records reveal a deliberate pattern of non-maintenance of the roadway to depress the property value and numerous complaints, threats, and lawsuits. Most notably, Meisner, Exhibit 15, who after having an attorney threatened suit his property, was purchased by James Lee Schreck, co-actor, at then full market value of $427,000, concluding that Washoe County and its employees, Wilcox Ranch POA, Gail Agnes Kern attorneys et al. Continue to lien, harass, make false representations, selective enforcements, violation of due process, perjury of oaths by judicial officers, dereliction of duties by law enforcement, all against my property and title interests, while refusing to stop and correct after the facts and notices to them. Further, a 1,000 plus page verified criminal claims Exhibit 8 is currently being finished for process of service on all parties concerning this matter, with further service of commands for disclosures in upcoming court proceedings. My title is defective from the day of purchase. Multi-layers of fraud and other crimes continue causing me great harm and unrepairable damage, including other property owners of Wilcox Ranch. I now seek reservation of rights to Washoe County's insurance policies for wrongful acts, employee dishonesty, intentional negligence, oppression under color law, selective enforcements, corruption, continued violation of due process, threat, liens, penalties, etc. There you have it. And here's some of the case numbers. And you can see this is all delivered to the DA here. Okay.